Hey, what's up everybody? Trent of the Trenternet here. So to celebrate the 17 years of making content that we have done on this channel, I thought we'd do something a little retro. So one of the first series I did on this channel was a Let's Play of this game, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy. Back in those days, I actually had to split the game up into like 5 parts because YouTube at the time would only allow you about 10 minutes per video. But now you could just upload whatever you want, and this is such a fun game, and I'm always looking for an excuse to play through this. So I thought today we would make like a little Let's Play / tutorial for this game. It's probably one of the easier Castlevania games, but it's also one of the ones I know the most. I know the best, I guess you could say. That because my dad bought this game for me when he bought me a Game Boy way back in like 1991, 92, right after it came out. One day he just came home from the mall. He had to do something else, and you know how it is if you have kids. You go out and you see something you think they would like and you buy it for them. And in this case, my dad got us a Game Boy with this game. So I thought I would do a little Let's Play, and so if you're getting into Castlevania or you want to try this game but you think it's too tough, this video will tell you everything you need to know to get through it. We're playing on the Castlevania Anniversary Collection Edition, which is a great way to play this game because it also has the Japanese version, which has some different sub-weapon selection in it. Anyway, this game is kind of unusual for Castlevania in that it lets you pick a stage. All of these, like I said, this is one of the easier Castlevania games. But if you had to ask me for a beginner, the Cloud Castle over here on the right is probably the hardest. The Crystal Castle is definitely the easiest. And then these two are somewhere in between. I would say the Rock Castle is a little bit harder than the Plant Castle just because of you need to have good movement to handle some of the jumpy frogs, which we'll get into that later. Basically, patience is your friend. But we're going to start with the Crystal Castle because this is the castle the game kind of soft suggests that you do by starting the cursor on it. I feel like most people probably just would have picked this stage. So in true Castlevania fashion, we get the Belmont walking into his challenge, in this case the Crystal Castle. Alright, so Crystal Castle, the gimmick of this level is these water. I assume this is supposed to be like a stream of water down here. And you notice that there's those little eyes on this statue here. I always thought this looked like a frog or something. But you can see that little circle. When you see that glow, that means the direction that the water flows is about to change. And so that means you either walk faster with it or you get hampered by it. So just keep that in mind as you're trying to move through the stage to watch for those orbs to flash because that tells you when the water flow is going to change. So the axe, in my opinion, is probably just slightly the stronger sub-weapon in this game, but the holy water definitely has its uses. But it's usually very niche. You can usually get away with just about any enemy with the axe if you know how to position it. So another reason it's good to start with the Crystal Castle is because you get this whip power-up right off the bat, and so you can actually carry that over between levels if you don't die. So that's very useful to have. Okay, so that first room, not a whole lot going on there. To my knowledge, this is one of the few classic Castlevanias that has rope climbing in it. Not really a mechanic you see in other Castlevanias. So these knight guys take about 3 hits to kill, and they don't really do anything dangerous except walk towards you. But keep in mind, if one of them is facing the other direction and you whip them, they will immediately turn towards you and walk towards you. So if you're ever in a situation like in the Cloud Castle later on, where you're about to hit one of these guys, make sure you wait for them to walk far enough away from the edge of the platform so that you can actually hit them and account for their turnaround. So that enemy there I just killed is called a Punaguchi, and it shoots an orb out which will actually take your whip level down by 1 if it touches you. So always line yourself up with those guys and try to hit them in the mouth as soon as you see them. It's also important to note that they can only have 2 orbs on screen at any given time. Okay. So what we're seeing now is the first of many secret areas in the game. Pretty much all the secret areas in this game are accessed by climbing through solid walls or ceilings. We're going to get our, hopefully get our axe back here. Yeah, there we go. Some of the secret areas are worth visiting, some of them not so much. It just depends. Okay, so in this, another gimmick of this level is these spike walls that come in and out, and you have to climb down a rope. Generally, there's always some way you can jump off to the side to avoid damage from those. And also remember that in this game, holding down and holding the jump button will make you slide down the rope faster. So like we're going to walk onto this rope and see I'm holding, I'm not holding, I'm holding. There we go. Here's another secret, by the way. Alright, maybe I can demonstrate this guy. No, we're not going to demonstrate the guy turning around. Let's see, there we go. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. It's just kind of execution. But for some of the harder stuff, I will walk you through it. For this section here, you can go down or up. Both of them, you end up at the end of the level either way. You can go to either one. If you're a new player, I prefer to pick the top path. The top path is marginally easier. The bottom path is like some water flow shenanigans with lizard monsters. The top is just much easier, so we're going to take the top path. So let's just kill these guys. If I had to guess, this is not the speedrunner's choice because it's slower to climb up ropes rather than down them. Anytime you kill one of these guys, just be patient. It's better to be patient, take some time, rather than lose your whip level. For this bat here, we don't even bother. We just keep walking. You know, don't attack that bat. Same here. A lot of the times, the challenge in this game is sections where you think you need to stop and fight, but there's really no reason to. These guys will steal your hearts, but there is literally never any reason other than to stand at the entrance of the room and whip, and they will come to you. If you do that, as you'll see later on, you will never get hit by these guys. I don't know if I'll point them all out, but you'll be able to see several secret items and things as I hit them. So the music is about to change, and depending on how loud I made my obnoxious voice, I don't know how well you'll be able to tell. But when you're in the stage and the music changes, that generally means you're about to run into a boss. This particular boss, the Warlock, is the easiest boss in the history of Castlevania, and you're about to see why. Like, let's say I just want to beat the game, okay? Come to the corner over here. Stand still. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Turn around and duck. You don't even have to duck. I just do it for good measure. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, we got 4. 1, 2, 3. Done. So literally stand in the corner, turn around and hit him. That's it. Alright, we got the axe stuck on screen. That means we're E-Pro at this game. I miss these old Konami games where they used to call your extra lives your rest. So you have 3 rest. I believe I actually made a joke about that in my very, very terrible Castlevania adventure review from like 17 years ago. Okay, the game is suggesting we do the Rock Castle next. Why not? It's a little bit harder than Plant Castle, I think, for new players, but once you know the trick, it's not that hard. Alright, this song is called Psycho Warrior, by the way, and there's just incredible music in this game. When you are first playing this game, I would suggest keeping the holy water for this level. This is one of those levels where the holy water is going to have a lot of use. So these mud men that drop from the ceiling, if I whip them, they come back. See, they come back until I hit them like 3 times, and then they die for good. Unless you use holy water. That kills them instantly. The coins just give you points, as far as I know. I've never been able to figure out what they do, other than occasionally you'll get an extra life for getting enough of them. Okay, now this is the tricky part. So in this room, there's going to be frogs that pop up and try to hit us, okay? And I feel like when I was a kid, and a lot of people that play this game, these frogs, like, you can have a lot of them on the screen at one time, and so they can quickly overwhelm you if you're not paying attention. But I'm going to show you the best way to deal with them. So when you see him, turn around, hit. The goal is, if you can't hit them in the wall, to stop and basically let them land on your whip. Here. See, I got hit, but it's okay. You just have to be patient. What they basically do is jump back and forth. So I feel like people lose a lot of health trying to chase them, but you can really just like stand in place and whip where they're going to be. Okay, so this is another section where the dot on the left of the spikes lights up, and that's how you know what's going to shoot out of the wall. I didn't do a very good job dodging it, but it's okay. So whip him in the hole, in the hole, in the hole. Alright, we're going to stop, turn around, take a hit because I was being careless. There we go. And boom, that's like the hardest part of this level done. We lost more health than I would have liked to have lost there, but it's okay because we're going to get it back here in a little bit. Alright, for this room, wait till the bottom one flashes, step, walk across, duck, and then finish walking across. Okay, so here's a shortcut. There's a room with a spike crusher down there that you just walk across and climb back up, but just skip it. Okay, so the mechanics of this room is anytime you see those stalactites at the top, that means that if you destroy all the candles on the screen, the lights are going to go out. And so we don't want that. You can turn them back on with holy water. Here, I'll see if I can trigger the effect here. Yeah, here we go. But if you throw holy water or if another candle comes on screen, it comes back. So one way you can just avoid that entirely is by not doing the candles. Just leave them alone. Here, let's restore our health because I played rather poorly in this round. This room here also has a whip power up if you need one. So the little monsters that come out in the dark there, sorry about the jump cut there, had to take a phone call. So these guys, you can actually stand on top of them as long as the lights are on. So just never turn the lights off and they're just another platform for you to jump on. If you do mess up and turn the lights off though, you can destroy them pretty easy. Just let them walk into your whip. Alright, most of these little rooms have a meat power up here. We're going to see if we can't grab it. Oh, it's not here. It's the next one. I'm sorry. So you may be wondering, how do I handle this section without taking damage? Well, it's easy. Anytime you see these crushers, you just hit the wires at the top and they break. I think this is the one that has the meat power up, but it's kind of risky. Yeah, see? It's kind of risky because you have to do this jump just right. We're not going to get it. We don't need it. Whether you go across that room or straight down, both of them lead to the same place. Alright, so remember this guy can only have 2 orbs on screen at once. So if we just let the other one go by, then we can get up close to him. Once you get in this guy's face, he's done for. Alright, this enemy will give you fits when you first start the game. It's actually incredibly easy. So what this guy's going to do is going to jump up and throw swords diagonally. And a lot of people make the mistake of trying to chase this guy. But really all you need to do is stand in place and just whip him when he lands. I'm getting a text message over there. Alright, so like this. When he jumps, you walk. That's it. Now you just add this whipping motion in. Boom, done. And now we're at the boss. So the holy water and the axe, both are viable choices for this boss. You can bring either one. We're just going to use holy water because it's what we got. So this first form, just whip, whip. When you see him lift his sword, walk away. Whip, whip, walk away. Whip, whip. Now he gets to his second form. We're going to hop on the ladder, or the rope. It's like this. Basically, he's going to jump and throw. So you just need to change your position. Alright, in the air, so we're going to go low. On the ground, we're going to go high. Whip. 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 See what I'm doing? Done. Okay, we got the holy water on screen. We couldn't get the whip fireball, but we got the holy water. Thank goodness I get to rest 5 times. Alright, that's 2 of the main boss stages down. We'll save Cloud Castle for last since it's the hardest, but let's do the Plant Castle. We're going to skip it. You've seen him walking enough. Okay, so the tricky part about Plant Castle is at the beginning there's going to be some frogs that hide off screen. If you have the fireball whip, you can just kill them as they get close. So let's just sneak along. Okay, see them? If you don't have the fireball whip, all you do is walk them into frame and then whip, because they'll land before they hit you. So they'll do jump, land, and then they'll jump again. As long as you kill them on that first jump, they can't hit you. Notice those flowers blooming in the background there. When I first saw that effect as a kid, it blew my mind. Alright, this section, it's easier just to stick to the bottom. Whatever that power-up is up there, it's probably not worth risking dying if you're a new player. Just kill the bat. Alright, don't jump here. This area, I prefer to just stay on the bottom. All paths lead to Rome. So like I said, get in this guy's face. Kill him. Go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. So those eyeballs, I actually believe they made this section to teach you a mechanic later on. If you're on a bridge and you kill an eyeball, it will create a hole in the bridge and you'll fall through. I think that's what they were trying to teach you with that little safe section there. So that's actually some pretty decent game design on Konami's part to show the player a challenge in a safe environment so that when it comes time to really do it, you have no excuse. You've already seen it. Alright, that will be a, instead of a heart, that will be a roast chicken if you have full health. So in this section, we'll start running into skeletons that spawn in and fall to the ground. The key is to not drop too far to the bottom of the screen because that's what triggers them to spawn. Also remember that you can jump while you're on the rope or in mid-jump. You actually couldn't do that in Castlevania The Adventure, but you can do it in this game. So that's an axe. We're going to go ahead and take the axe. Technically the axe is the less useful power-up for this stage, but you know, I don't care. I'm going to use it. It's good for these guys. So if you hit this bat with the fireball, it will actually split into 2. But if you hit it with an axe, or if you attack it such that your whip fully bisects it, it will kill it in 1 hit. So we want to do that. Because 2 bats on screen is kind of annoying in this game. They can be kind of hard to deal with. Okay, again, all I have to do for these enemies, stand here and spam whip. That's it. And it doesn't matter, you say, oh Trent, I don't have the fireball whip. It doesn't matter. Just stand here. See? Easy. You'll stun lock those guys when they get close. Nice little heart here. Okay, here's where that mechanic I was talking about comes in handy. So if we blow up the bridge, we end up falling down there in those weeds, and they make us walk really slow, but we don't want to go slow. So we're just going to walk across and jump. Just jump the eyeball right before you walk into it. I believe there's a secret here. It would normally be an axe, but we've already got one. So we get 2 hearts for our trouble. Alright, this section you have to blow a hole in the thing. Just watch out for the Punaguchi over there and make sure he doesn't take your whip away. A better strategy would be to let those go away before you try to cross, but I just kind of YOLO'd it. Alright, these spiders, if you have fireballs, just wait here. Otherwise it's a little trickier, but it's not too bad. One thing to remember with the spider climbing sections is that you don't have to kill the spider to use their web. You can absolutely jump across before they're dead. And there's a section later where it's actually better to do that. Alright, so that's actually probably what we'll do right here. Yeah, see? Alright, now the boss section. You're going to have to drop and walk in between these two. Come over here, and you're going to have to wait for a gap, and then quick drop. The eyeballs won't follow you through that hole, so you can just quick drop. Don't put too much oomph on the jump here, because a lot of the times you'll clip the collision on those spikes. I've always said there's 2 types of Castlevania games, those where spikes kill you instantly and those where they don't. Fortunately, this is a don't game, so you'll just get knocked back and take some damage. This is another boss that's pretty stupid easy, especially if you have the axe. Just pretty much never leave this platform. When they open their mouths, they're about to spit 3 fireballs out. But the fireballs can be whipped to destroy them. So you kind of just base your strategy around, I see the mouth open, I whip the fireballs, I whip them in the process. If you never let those fireballs get on screen, it's never a problem. Oh, we got the axe. It's at the very bottom right hand corner. We got the axe and the fireball and the whip on screen. So that's gold, Jerry. Gold! Alright, one more left. It's the Cloud Castle. This level has the best music in the game, hands down. It's probably one of my favorite levels in this game. It also has one of the trickier bosses, pattern-wise. But it's nothing we can't beat. So this level, the tricky part will be these birds if you don't have the axe or the whip. The trick is to remember they're going to have to fly at first, and you can just kind of duck and whip them because you're on the right Y platform coordinate, whatever you want to call it, to hit them. Fun fact, the very first time I played this game, I quit when I got to this room because I thought it was too hard. Because this is actually the first level I picked. I didn't pick Crystal Castle, I picked this level. I would have preferred to keep the axe, but we can get it again at the end of this room. Okay, so these weights, these spiked weights on these ropes will hurt you, so we need to avoid touching those if at all possible. So a lot of the challenge in this level is figuring out how to do this, and most of it's just not jumping too high. So in this case, like, see how I didn't jump? I just walked off the platform. You want to walk off because otherwise you'll hit those spikes. In this case, we're just going to hold left and just kind of rapid fire jump across. Alright, I never let go of the left button in that room. Alright, if you got a fireball, this room is easy, but if you don't, it can be a little tricky. You just have to watch the orbs that come out of the Punaguchi. Alright, the trick to this room is to only jump when it's at the bottom, okay? Climb back to the top, come up here, and then quick jump across. That candle also holds the whip power up if you still need one. Alright, this is another room where it's best to just walk off and quick jump across. See? If you jump, you're going to hit those spikes. You just want to quick jump across. Alright, remember what I told you about these rooms. With these guys, with the jellyfish, stand in place and whip. You don't have to move. You don't have to move. You can kill them faster if you do pursue that second one. But like I said, if you're just learning to do the game, all you got to do, stand in place and whip. Okay, so this one we do have to jump. We can't just walk off, but we have to jump a little bit. Alright, so we're going to let that one go off in the pit. Jump up here. Destroy him. Easy. Alright, getting roughly to the halfway point of this level. Okay, remember this guy. We're going to wait. Strike. 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 Easy. Okay, so the gimmick in this level is you have these ropes and gears. So every so often, the gears will change directions. And the rope that's being pulled down will be pushed up, and the one that's being pushed up will be pulled down. So the main challenge is you have to stick with the direction, right? And it'll pause for a split second before the rope switch directions. And you can look at the lines on those ropes to tell which direction each rope is going. So like we're going to jump on the up rope, ride it up. Oh, it switched. Now we're going down. You will take pretty heavy damage if you hit those gears, and it's easy to get like trapped in a stun loop. So you want to make sure you don't hit those. If you're speedrunning the game, you can also just grab onto this rope, wait till it starts pulling up, and then just press up, because that makes you climb faster, and just absorb the damage and go through the gear. But because we're doing kind of a casual playthrough, we're not going to do that. But it is possible to damage boost through those gears. If you get frustrated with the level and you want to save time later on, you can do that. Those will turn up again in a later level too, so don't think you've seen the last of those. So in this room, they try to make this harder by putting those spikes at the top in front of the Punaguchi, but what you can do is just kind of get to the top level, destroy his orb, and then walk straight under him. You don't even have to defeat him, just leave the room. Unless you're trying to get points to submit to SNES Live or something. Alright, this room has some sneaky hard platforming in it. I still find myself dying in this room sometimes, but there's no reason to if you take it slow. And don't worry too much about these candles over the pits. If it's too hard for you to get those, don't worry about it. One of those is a holy water anyway, and the axe actually works better for this boss. Oh, see, we lost our whip level. I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but it's okay. We'll get it back shortly, don't worry. So I'm going to activate this boss, which I believe is called the Angel Skeleton, and then I'm going to pause it so I can tell you what he's going to do. Okay, so basically the way this works is both of the heads that you see, the skeleton and the beast skull, are vulnerable. That's the weak point. This boss is going to swap those vertebrae bones in its neck between the top and the bottom. When it's on the top one will stick out from the wall, and when it's on the bottom one kind of sticks out from the wall, and the top one recedes. And so the way it does that is it shoots the bones across the screen. And so all you have to know how to beat this boss is just how to position yourself to avoid the spikes. So we're going to go up and give him a good whack. And then we're going to dodge. Get here. Jump up. Jump. Jump. Okay, now we're going to whack him. You have to jump before that last spine hits. Otherwise, it'll catch you. So duck. Come up. Dodge our whip. Dodge our whip. And see, once you get a little more comfortable, you can actually sneak in an extra hit there. And again, sub-weapons, whip power-ups all make this much easier. Trick is to not get greedy because those little fireballs will hit you. The angle that that fireball comes out at depends on where Christopher is standing. Is standing when the enemy fires it. So sometimes you'll see me like at the last second, I'll walk towards the end of the platform. That's because that moves that fireball into a position that's easier to whip or hit. Just remember the fireball that always comes out based on Christopher's position when the enemy gets ready to shoot it. Alright, now we get this nice little cutscene here of Dracula's castle appearing. Seeing this section here as a kid blew my mind. I was like, what have I done? What have I discovered? So it's kind of neat. You get the 4 stage select levels and then the game opens up into kind of a smaller version of the more traditional Castlevania map screen. Anyway, this is level 5. The music track is called Original Sin. It's one of the few Castlevania tracks never to be reused anywhere else, to my knowledge. The opening section of this is pretty easy if you carried your axe. Otherwise, you're going to have to time the hits on those birds, kind of like you did the ones at the beginning of Cloud Castle. So basically, the 2 Castlevania stages in this game are kind of tests of all the stuff you learned in the other levels. I realize I didn't tell you the best way to kill these guys, but I'm going to show you here in a second when we run into another one. Get rid of this guy. Okay, so the boomerang throwers, if they're standing, you duck and then jump. So we're going to, if he ducks, you duck, then jump. And then repeat. Jump, duck. Easy. Oh, we'll get to kill another one. Here we go. Whoops, I messed the timing up. But you really, because his health is so low, you really only have to duck maybe once or twice. Duck or jump. You'll see him. He'll walk forward and then he'll pause. If he pauses standing up, he's going to throw the high, so you duck. If he pauses ducking, that means he's going to throw it low. It's a pretty simple pattern. Again, this one's easy. You just wait till that top one blinks and walk across it. Okay, so this one you can get into a lot of trouble if you get impatient and jump onto one of the lower ones. You don't want to do that. You want to wait until we get the top one or the next to top one to light up. Alright, this one's a little tricky. Just jump, jump, and then jump again. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, duck, jump. Again, I know that a lot of players won't have the axe when you get here, but the concept is the same. You just kind of have to position yourself. Oh, we're out of hearts. Dang. Okay, so you can see this giant bat Fortunately, we hit him with the full whip, so that means he doesn't split. Those split into two if you don't hit them right. I want to say there's an extra life down here. Yeah, there is. Nice. Alright, there's some chicanery up here ahead, so just bear with me. So this section is pretty easy. You just kind of have to... You can kind of see what you're supposed to do. You just kind of have to develop the execution. Okay, so this part, you just stand towards the middle of the screen and let it drop you down. I think I actually hit that guy and it cheated me, but whatever. Make sure you grab the meat from the corner in that room. Okay, here's the chicanery. So for whatever reason, they tried to make you think like, oh, it's Crystal Castle. I get to pick which direction I want to go. No, you don't. If you go up, you end up looping back around indefinitely. So the best thing to do is just to go down from the beginning. It's a nice little a trap that Konami tried to play on people who were thinking about the previous level. I guess it kind of keeps you on your toes in some respects. We lost our whip power up just in time for the boss too. Fantastic. That's alright, we don't really need it. The fireball is not very useful against this boss. So hopefully I won't die here. This is actually one of the trickiest bosses in the game. Even if you know what to do, it can be a little tricky because it can get ahead of you. I'll try to explain, you know, kind of what the thought process is to beat this boss once we get over to the candle. Okay, so you notice the Christopher is standing on two pieces of brick, right? And in between the brick, there's like this weird like portal-like area with like some, it looks like Floam. I always thought it was Floam from the 90s. Shout outs to my fellow 90s kids. So it's basically going to be this dragon that goes in and out of the ceiling. And the little Floam areas will vibrate before he comes out of the floor and or the ceiling. And so the trick to this boss is to stay ahead of it, alright? You don't want to walk into it when it's at the one on the far right of the screen, but you can never get trapped because that's how you take a guaranteed hit. The key is to stay ahead of it, and you got to whip it right when it comes out of the floor or the ceiling. So just kind of watch. Hopefully I do a good job and you can see what I mean. Okay, see how immediately I start by going to the right, and I stay ahead of him, right? Alright, he's going to go to the back, which means we need to go here. Alright, in this case, we need to make a run for it. And see, we have just enough time to get here. Oh, we may take a hit here. Yep, we let him get too far ahead. See, you can take a lot of damage really fast on this boss if you don't stay ahead of him. It's okay, we're going to stay ahead. We're going to stay ahead. Stay ahead. There we go. So you see what I mean by you kind of have to stay ahead. The game tries to trick you and make you feel like, oh no, I don't have enough time to make it. But in actuality, you do. And if you don't, then you're going to take that automatic hit. So pretty much be at the right side of the screen at all times, except when you can't see where the dragon is, because there's a good chance he comes out of that far right one and you take a hit from walking into him. Alright, this is probably the most difficult, like, normal stage in the game. I don't know what other stages there are besides normal stages, but this is probably the hardest and longest one. Alright, we got our fireball back. That's great. So this is a real song called Passpeed, by the way, by a guy named Claude Debussy. I'm not joking. That's his actual name. Look it up. Keep in mind the holy water, when you throw it, it does have an upwards arc. It just falls a lot faster than the axe. So don't be afraid to use the holy water against these birds, because you can still absolutely nail them in the air with the holy water. Alright, what's coming up is one of the most difficult rooms in the game to not take a hit on. And it's because of this scenario here. But if you got that holy water, just drop it on that ledge and then run away and let it kill that Punaguchi. If you don't have holy water, you kind of have to follow the platform up and down to avoid the orbs. But you really don't want to lose your whip level, especially if you're coming into this level raw, because if you do that, you're going to be down to the leather whip, and that's really bad for killing some of these enemies. We can pretty much safely switch back to the axe at this point, though. Alright, so... Okay, so a little thing about this room. If I were to jump up there and kill the wire, I'm going to get trapped, because the thing is going to fall to the ground and break those bricks, and I won't be able to reach the rope. So the trick is, you have to go to the other side first. And we just take this nice and slow, okay? We break that platform so we can drop faster, go down, duck. Just have to be patient. This is Castlevania, it's not Super Mario. Patience, patience, patience. Same thing here. If we kill the thing, we're going to get trapped, so we just kind of have to be patient. You should have just enough time to make it to the other side of the room before it stops and crushes you. Now you destroy it. Alright, we got an extra life there for doing that. So you can see this first part is very reminiscent of the Cloud Castle. There's a lot of Cloud Castle challenges that are here. So again, for the Grim Reapers, make sure you duck when jump when he ducks. Whoops. Okay, so this is an important point. See how I damaged that breakable block there? Well, oh no, what do I do if I break the block? Easy. Just go in and out of the room and start it and try again. Also a reminder that just because one of those guys has been defeated, that doesn't mean his boomerang won't come back. So keep that in mind. Whoops. There we go. Got just enough time and space to jump onto that platform. Okay, so here's your halfway point for this level. You're going to find yourself at this area a lot if you take a game over, because this is where you start back at after a game over here. So again, we have this automatic rope section, but it's not really any harder than the other. You have to do the same thing. And the way you kill this Melon Knight here is just by jumping back and forth on the rope. Don't rush yourself. If you need more hits to kill him, just jump back and forth. And I called this guy a Melon Knight because if you're playing this on the original Game Boy, the small screen, those guys look like they're made out of watermelons. And so as a kid, I thought they were like monsters made out of watermelons. I realized once I played on the Super Game Boy, they were supposed to be like knights, but they really do look like watermelon men on the Game Boy screen. Small black and white, non-lit back screen. Took a hit there, but it's okay. The reason I didn't walk too much forward is because sometimes you can actually activate that bat by mistake, and so then you'd find yourself trying to deal with the bat and the Grim Reaper guy. In this case, to beat this challenge, you got to get Christopher's toe to the edge of the platform and then walk across. You can't jump or you hit the spikes. So again, we got a Punaguchi here. We're going to take care of him first. If you don't have the fireball whip or the axe, you can't really do it. You just have to make a run for it. And it's not too tough if you just kind of wait to see where his orb goes and then smack it and then get on the platform. Here's another room that'll give you a lot of difficulty the first time you do it, but it's not that hard once you get some patience. So first kill the Watermelon Knight. Go across. Smack the bird. And you want to try to keep the axe. I want to say there's a holy water hidden here somewhere, but we want to hang on to this axe for the boss. 26 hearts should be more than enough, so I'm not really going to worry too much about it unless I end up using a bunch, which I shouldn't. Alright, kill the spider. Jump across. Generally, the lower you can kill them, the better. So that way you have more room. Okay, so this section can be tricky. But the key is to remember that you don't have to kill the spider to climb on its web, okay? So kill this one. And the reason I say that, a lot of people get on that block there and panic, and they end up respawning one or both of the spiders. But the key is to just move ahead, okay? Alright, so we'll wait till the first one goes down. Go across, jump, jump. Easy. That's all you do. So there's actually 2 Punaguchis here. We're going to kill the first one before we bring the second one on screen. Nice and easy. Grab your health up. Time for probably the game's hardest boss. Alright, when I first got to this area as a kid, I knew something was up because the graphics here are probably better than any other room in the game. Like probably 90% of the graphics tiles are focused on this room. And the music is also not used anywhere else, which is really cool. So the boss is Christopher's son Soleil, and it's one of the first, I won't say it's the first like doppelganger type fight in Castlevania. CV3 probably has that. But you're not technically fighting a doppelganger, it's just a character who's similar to you because it's your son. And so this is a boss that you have to manipulate his movement and then catch him in the air when he comes after you. The key is, and you're going to see this more when we start the fight, he's pretty much always going to alternate a pattern of throwing swords up in the air or walking towards us. And if we try to whip him straight on, he's going to whip us. And his whip hurts a lot more than ours. So basically the trick is you have to hit him without him hitting you. Now if you have the axe, it's pretty easy to do that. And we do. But I'm going to try to do it with the whip a lot too. So you can see what that looks like. So we get this cutscene here, one of the first cutscenes in a Castlevania game. I'm surprised you made it this far. The rebirth of Dracula will occur soon. You cannot destroy me. Father? Alright, so if I remember correctly, you walk at him for the first round. Okay, he's going to come at us. Okay, we took a hit there, but it's okay. So we're going to lure him into... Oh no, he didn't do what we wanted. Oh no. It's okay. Here we go. You see how I whipped him from behind? So we got to manipulate him into coming after us. Okay, see, he chased us. If you're close to that platform, he's going to chase you. And now we're going to follow him. And he's going to go forward this time. And when he does, we're going to whip him. Come on, Soleil. Here we go. Always whip him from behind. You never want to face him head on. And you kind of manipulate the direction he goes by which side of the platform you're on. So like, see how I was on the far right, so he walked to the right? Now I'm at that side, so he's going to come to that side. He's pretty much just chasing me. So I'm going to stick here, so he's going to go up there. Okay, just let him walk. See what we do? We just take our time. He's not always going to go where you want him. A lot of times he will, though. He jumps really high, so that's when we can hit him in the back. You just got to watch his hitbox to make sure he doesn't clip you. There we go. So you may take a hit at the beginning of this battle, but I feel like once you get a handle on it, it's not so bad. Just stay ahead of him. Whoops. You don't have to worry too much about the swords too, as long as you stay on the other side of the screen. This is another piece of classical music by Bach, I believe. It's called like Chromatic Fantasy or something like that. Okay, so I didn't execute that very well, but the key to that battle is just kind of stay away from him and wait till he walks away from you to go to the other side of the screen and hit him from behind. If you can do that, you can usually beat this boss and only take a few hits. Ouch! What am I doing? Oh, Father. Since Dracula cannot use my powers, Dracula will use the power of the 4 castle spirits. Hurry up! Quickly! Yeah, just let me take care of this for you, Soleil. I've got it, don't worry. Okay, so now we're dropped into the final level, which is, you just go straight to the boss. It's just Dracula. And Dracula in this game is not so much about jumping execution like he is in Castlevania 1 or Castlevania 4. It's really about just knowing where to go, okay? So if you're having trouble with this boss, you can just watch where I successfully avoid the attacks at, because I'm going to have to remember as we do this, unfortunately. If you see me mess one up, I'm sorry. Which I probably will. Okay, so see, it's the same thing every time. As long as you're in the correct place, you can always dodge it. So that one I have to go to the corner and jump. This one we just go to the right here. Typically, the further you are away from him, the easier it is to dodge it. And obviously you have to hit him in the head. It's like most other Castlevania Dracula fights. He can only be damaged by hitting him in the head. So don't think that I'm just like, I'm doing special movement or something to dodge these attacks. It's literally like, for every position he teleports to, there's a best position to be in the room that lets you avoid it. Some of them require some movement once you get to that position, but by and large, it's just being there is like half the battle. And I have a strategy guide up on GameFAQs for this game, which lists the correct position to stand in for each possible Dracula position, so you can go look that up if you struggle. And I didn't explain it well in the video. Okay, so this should, yeah, that should do it. Oh, and we got the fireball and the axe. Let's go. Okay, guys, that's Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy. So as you can see, this is definitely one of the easier, more straightforward Castlevanias to beat. It's much better than Castlevania the Adventure. And it's not just because it's easier. I think it's because it's a much better game. Like, mechanically, it's a little bit faster. It's a little more forgiving. It's not just like difficult to make the game longer, which Castlevania the Adventure definitely was. It's just a great game. I think it's a great starter game for Castlevania. It does have some weird stuff that won't carry over into other games, like the rope climbing. But I really do think this game teaches you a lot about the Castlevania tradition of patience, movement when needed, and like careful attack timing, because I think that is truly the key to beating this game. So I'm not going to make you sit through the whole ending here. I'm going to get out of here. It's late. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. If you'd like to see more playthroughs and how-tos for classic or other Castlevania games, leave in the comments below which ones you'd like to see. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please go check out my review of Castlevania Lament of Innocence. It's in the playlist called Reviews and Retrospectives. It'd mean a lot to me if you would check that out. Thanks guys, more great Castlevania content to come.